greens and outdoor scenes, design your space, let your garden dreams glide. Personal touch with our garden design, free sessions to blend within your budget line. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Indoor greens and outdoor scenes, design your space, let your garden dreams glide. Personal touch with our garden design, free sessions to blend within your budget line. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you, just for you. In the morning sun, where the flowers bloom, colors blurs like a painter's dream come true. Roses red and violets blue, every petal whispers something new. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, greens and outdoor scenes, design your space, let your garden dreams glide. Personal touch with our garden design, free sessions to blend within your budget line. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and room, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and room, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Indoor greens and outdoor scenes, design your space, let your garden dreams glide. Personal touch with our garden design, free sessions to blend within your budget line. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and room, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and room, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and room, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you, just for you. In the morning sun, where the flowers bloom, colors blurs like a painter's dream come true. Roses red and violets blue, every petal whispers something new. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello.
Alright, hey everybody, welcome to our live question and answers with Chris. How you doing today, Chris?
Good, thanks.
So we're going to be answering your gardening questions. This is your opportunity to come on the show and leave a comment in the comment section and ask Chris a gardening question live on the show, and he'll happily answer it for you with his over 60 years of horticultural experience. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how are you going this week? What's on the menu for this week at Hello Hello Plants?
Well, it's getting close to Christmas. A lot of people are looking at doing completing projects and getting things done for Christmas. The garden design desk is pretty busy. And people are sort of getting garden. There's a few people going on holidays at the moment and starting on garden projects. And what I'm enjoying is that from last November through till really the end of September, we were in drought. And
yeah, it's looking pretty green around.
yeah, although it wasn't a terrible drought, it was still very much a drought. And if that drought had continued, it would have been pretty rough this summer. And I've been enjoying that rain. We've been getting a good bit of rain every week for maybe 4 or 5 weeks now.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's great to see Melbourne green and lush, and even when you go up the country, things are looking, pretty green and pretty good. I guess up in the wheat belt, they're not wanting too much rain right now because they'll be looking to harvest their wheat soon. But but it's really good around Melbourne having that bit of rain.
Absolutely. And tell us about, while we're waiting for the questions to roll in, so again, for those of you who might have just joined us, this is your opportunity to ask Chris a gardening question you might have related to anything in your garden that you want to maybe repair or move or put in. You can ask a question right now. Chris will answer it live. But maybe tell us, while we're waiting for the questions to roll in, Chris, what's happening in terms of deals that we've got on at the moment.
Okay, what I'll do is I'm going to run and get something. I'll only be a minute.
No worries. All right, and while Chris does that, all right, we've got our first question in here. While Chris does that and jumps off and gets us one of our fantastic deals that we have, I do want to mention we actually are doing at the moment 50% off all pot sets. Right. An incredible deal.
Good,
and
thanks.
we also
Good.
have 33% off individual pot prices at the moment.
How far?
If you don't want to miss that, Chris is talking on the microphone, it's probably cutting across.
Have a look at this.
If you don't want to miss that, come on in. Here
Have
we
a
go.
look at
Chris
this,
got a good
everyone.
plant for you.
Now, I'm getting the most heavenly fragrance, and this is a new type of peony, and these haven't been generally available in Australia, and it's called an Ito, and it's a hybrid cross between a tree peony and the type of peony that people grow as a bulb. But look at those flowers there, aren't they fantastic? And so we've got a whole range of these Itos in at the moment, and they're flowering. So if you want to see the best peonies in the world, it's a great time to come in and have a look at the Ito. But if you can't get down here, we've got an Ito peony page. It's up on the website now, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that these Itos, there's all different colours, and they're beautiful bushes, fantastic flowers. I think they're one of the most beautiful and spectacular things that we've had in the nursery for years. And when I walk out there and I see them flowering out there, I feel delighted.
Yeah, they're a more traditional, sort of older style plants, aren't they, that were more common 50, 60 years ago, would you say? Or? That's
right, but even hundreds of years ago, they were the sort of things that royalty would cultivate in their gardens, and they have and in China, they're an important part of their art and culture, because these were the highest level of flowers, and the flowers of royalty. And,
they're absolutely stunning.
Yeah. And they're a little bit hard to propagate and a little bit slow to propagate, so they're always a little bit expensive. But now go to the Ito peony page or come in and have a look at them. There's nothing like seeing them yourself for real. They're incredible.
Yeah, they look unreal in real life. All right, we better get stuck into the questions. That's what we're here for. Live Q&A. And first one here comes to us from Cletus saying, "Hi matey, question for you. I'm in southern New South Wales and looking for interesting fruit trees. Just put in apple, pear, citrus, avocado and cherries. Any other suggestions for Cletus?"
A mate of mine is growing the Chinese date, which is called the jujube. And the Chinese date is incredibly easy to grow, great for southern New South Wales, and it's a beautiful fruit to eat, and it's something that you can also dry. It's very popular with the Chinese to dry and preserve and do various things with. So it's a very useful fruit, and they grow quickly and easily. They grow like a weed, and it's wonderful fruit. So that would be a really good fruit for you to get into. And I remember driving with a Chinese forestry scientist through northern New South Wales, and he said these hills should be covered in Chinese dates. He said this is the best spot in the world for growing Chinese dates. So
really?
And what it is that the Chinese date's a wonderful productive tree, and with so many Chinese, and if you're going to grow them commercially, with so many Chinese here in Australia, I'm sure that there'd be quite a good market for nice fresh Chinese date, or jujube as they're called.
Beautiful. All right, you can check that one as an additional fruit tree for your fruit trees that grow in there, Cletus.
Well, this gentleman here needs help. Yeah, okay, so I'm doing it live here. Could you help this, Emily, could you help this gentleman here?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, because right. Okay, so next question.
All right, so the next question, I'm just going to ask before I go off and help somebody. So it is, actually Lloyd is just asking, is this suitable for dogs? This guy here.
The juju?
No, sorry.
This peony here. I don't know. You'd
peony.
have to look it up. You'd have to look up peony and see if they're poisonous to dogs. You just have to check on that.
All right, Lloyd, check it out on Google. And I'll just ask one last question here. So, Macy, can you show us? This is a question for you, Chris. Can you show us some evergreens that also flower? I'm in Queensland.
Evergreens that flower in Queensland. But one of the best would be your one of the best would be your one of the best would be your blueberry ash. Your blueberry ash has fabulous pink blossom on it, and it's a really nice bushy evergreen, and that's really good. But then also in southern magnolia, in southeastern Queensland or northern New South Wales, you do really well with evergreen magnolias, things like your Exmouth magnolia, beautiful big fragrant flowers, fast growing, beautiful luscious evergreen. And you can even use things like your port wine magnolia, beautiful bushy evergreen, grows quite well in northern New South Wales, and that grows quite quickly, and has beautiful fragrant little tiny purple flowers. So there's a couple. There's the blueberry ash Australian native and beautiful pink blossom. There's your magnolia like your Exmouth or your little gem, and then there's your what was it? What did I say?
Was it you? Did you say you? I missed it. Sorry, I was just helping a customer. Was it the Yulan? Did you say that or?
Yulan you could certainly grow up there, but we're looking for bushy evergreens that flower. Yeah, so certainly your blueberry ash, your magnolia, and like your fairy magnolia would be another one. There's another good evergreen one with beautiful flowers on it. So they're all nice evergreen flowers that would do well in that sort of subtropical environment.
Perfect. All right, there you go, Mason. There's a few options for you. Now, if you do miss any of Chris's answers in this live, you can head over to YouTube and search Hello Plants and re-watch this live again where Chris will give you the answer. Well, you can pretty much watch a replay of what Chris said. But Macy, that should help you out. And thank you very much, Macy, for sending through those little cat stickers. Much appreciated. Cleta says, thank you. I also put in a loquat. That was in northern New South Wales for Cletus.
I reckon loquats are wonderful. They're a beautiful evergreen tree. I wasn't aware that they grew up that way, but I'd be interested to see how that goes. But they're
probably grows better up there though, right?
It could well. Yeah. It's a beautiful evergreen tree, and in Melbourne, it's the first fruit tree to produce edible fruit for the season. Yeah. So I was eating loquats off the tree about 3 weeks ago. They were still a little bit tart, but I reckon if I went back to that same tree now, they'd be beautiful and sweet. And loquats are a little bit like an apricot, very attractive tree, great big long dark green leaves. And I reckon it's such a beautiful tree that even if they didn't fruit, they'd be worth putting in the garden. And the fruit is like a bonus for a beautiful evergreen attractive tree. Beautiful. So loquats, if you're looking for an interesting fruit tree, that's a great one to look up, and grows right up into New South Wales evidently, and does really well through most of Victoria.
Awesome. And Macy says thank you. That was the one from Queensland for the evergreen flowering trees. And we've got a question here from Ray Raw asking, is the snowball flower from the hydrangea family?
Well, the snowball is a very loose term, and in the hydrangea family, you've got a hydrangea called, I can't think of what's it called. Your hydrangea is lady's name.
Annabelle?
Annabelle, that's
Is
it.
that
So you've
right?
got your Annabelle hydrangea. Now, Annabelle hydrangea is the closest thing you'll get to a great big white snowball in a hydrangea, but it's not. But the one that they call the snowball bush is a viburnum, and it has a kind of a pointed maple leaf, and it'll grow up to 4 meters in height, and gives you this glorious show in springtime, beautiful white snowballs that sort of hang and sort of move in the wind, look absolutely fabulous. So glorious plant, the snowball bush.
Oh, cool.
And the one that's commonly called a snowball bush is that viburnum.
The viburnum, yeah.
It's called viburnum. Viburnum. It's a sterile viburnum, so it's a non-bearing viburnum. It's a viburnum that doesn't have berries.
Okay.
And then Annabelle is the sort of the snowball in the hydrangea range, in the hydrangea family.
All right, beautiful. There you go. So if you've just joined us, this is your opportunity to ask Chris a question live on the show. If you have any gardening related questions, Chris will be able to help you out. Just ask it, drop it in the comment section now, and we'll get to your question shortly. So Macy has come back to us. This was Macy from Queensland asking I'd love to know about good dwarf fruit trees for Brisbane area. I currently have a peach tree, lemons, oranges, and non-dwarf mulberry tree. Planning for a yard full, only new to gardening.
Right, so what's your after peaches?
Macy currently has a peach tree, lemons, oranges, and non-dwarf mulberry tree, planning for a yard full, only new to the garden. And the question is, I would love to know about good dwarf fruit trees for Brisbane area. That's the question.
Right, okay.
In addition to those ones she's mentioned.
Yeah, so in Brisbane, I guess there's peaches you can grow there, there's nectarines that you can grow. You're probably a bit far north for growing plums.
Oh yeah.
There's the full range of citruses, pretty much, like the yuzu, and all of those are available as dwarfs now. So you can so there's a lot of citruses that you can get as dwarfs. You do a peach and a nectarine will grow up there. Probably not apples or pears particularly.
Apples and pears, no?
No,
Okay.
I don't reckon. I reckon you're just that bit too tropical. So
What gives you a few options?
yeah, and there's nice little dwarf bananas around too. So
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
so you can get a nice little dwarf. There are dwarf bananas available, although I think they have trouble actually buying and selling them up there. There's sort of it's a bit hard to. I don't think they're encouraging people to grow bananas at home
locally up
yeah,
there,
but if you
okay.
hunt around, you should be able to find some nice little dwarf bananas.
All right, perfect. All right, and there you go, Macy. Hopefully that helps you out. Jamie asks, where can I find a guide of what veggies to plant during summer? I don't know if do we have a guide?
We don't really have a guide on the website. In summer, like, where's this chap come from?
They don't really say, just the question, doesn't say where they're at. It's
Okay.
from Jamie there.
Yeah, just some ideas from my point of view. Right now would be a great time to plant squashes, squash, zucchini, pumpkin,
They're summer ones.
cucumber.
Yep.
Maybe you don't want to, but certainly cucumber, zucchinis, pumpkins, melons.
Oh yeah.
Plant them now. You've really got to get them in now or give up, and then things like broccoli, you can plant that all year round.
So this is for Melbourne.
This would be Victoria or southern New South Wales.
All right, Jamie, if you're in Victoria
yes,
or
southern New South Wales.
yep.
So to be, you're getting right at the end of the time for doing your pumpkins and that. Now would be a good time to put in different types of beans, and they're a great summer crop. So you can put in beans. You can plant spinach now. And what you should be doing is planting just a little bit of lettuce every week. Like you can, every week you'll be popping in some lettuces.
Yeah.
And rocket, rocket has a fairly short life, but it grows real quick at this time of year. So rocket, you could be planting a little bit of rocket every week or two.
Yeah.
And certainly your chilies, and we're kind of getting to the end of planting tomatoes, but I mean, people have been buying tomatoes ferociously right up until now.
Yeah.
But certainly tomatoes and chilies could be going in now.
Yeah.
So you're getting towards the end of your spring planting season for a lot of things that you're going to enjoy in the summer. I reckon you could still plant peppers now. So, your peppers you could still be planting. But your pumpkins and peppers and tomatoes and things like that, and your zucchini, you've got to get in and do them now because you're going to miss the season on those.
Yeah.
And broccoli you can plant all year. Lettuces you can plant all year. Your spinach and things like that you can plant all year. Coriander, and certainly now's a great time to be getting into oregano. And oregano is so expensive to buy, and so often when I go to the shop, it's gone. Everyone's bought it all. So oregano would be a really good thing to plant now, and that oregano grown at home would be much tastier and much cheaper than the oregano that you buy. So they're all things you could get into right now.
Perfect, thanks for that. There you go, Jamie. That gives you a bunch of options there. Again, head over to, if you missed any of the answers to those questions, you can head over to YouTube and just search Hello Plants, look at our latest live, and you'll be able to rewatch this live with Chris giving answers to these questions. And then if you are watching us live right now, feel free to drop us a question. Chris will be more than happy to answer any of your gardening questions. All right, we'll keep moving along. I'm going to jump over to a different platform. We'll come back. We're on several platforms right now. We'll come back to TikTok and answer those questions shortly. Okay, so Serena asks, when should soil be tested before adding amendments or compost fall or spring? So the question is, when should soil be tested before adding amendments or compost? Fall or autumn or spring.
Okay, so the test that's really available to anybody, if you were to go into Bunnings or go into your local fertiliser or produce store, you can buy yourself a pH testing kit. And with that pH testing kit, you can very quickly determine where you are in pH levels. And for most vegetables and greens and things like that, and even for most plants, 6.5 is the perfect point to be. And so that's your pH test. Apart from that, other tests are like, is there any life in the soil? Are there worms living there, And a lack of worms would tend to indicate a lack of organic matter in the soil, or sort of some toxicity or some imbalance in the soil. And so the goal of a good, keen gardener is to get some worms living there. And sometimes that involves getting some worms from somewhere and releasing them, but most of all, you might start a compost heap or get some sort of good organic matter. And often with good organic matter, get the weeds out of it, it's a good idea to compost it before you actually put it on into the garden. But so get going with a compost heap, and so it's really getting that pH right and getting some nutrients in there. And the only real soil test, without going to a very expensive soil test, the only real soil test that you can do is, although actually no, there is another soil test. What's interesting is that radishes grow quicker than almost any plant. They germinate within about 7 days, and they're ready to eat within about 45 days. Now, I remember when I was a kid, the first thing I ever grew was radishes. And what I loved was the quickness at which they grew, and then, you'd plant them, and the next month, late in the next month, you'd be eating them.
Wow.
And anyway, but what's good about radishes is radishes actually, and you can look it up on the internet, what radishes do is in their foliage, they actually show you what's wrong with the soil.
Really?
Like if they're yellow, if they're hungry, if they have spots on the leaves, and you can look all that up on the internet. But basically, what companies that make soil or make potting mix, when they're professionally testing it, their main test is radishes, and they grow and within 3 or 4 weeks you can know a lot about your soil by looking at how the radish foliage works. So a pH test And then radishes would be the cheap, easy way for people to learn about their soil.
That's incredible. I didn't know that. It's like a little...
Yeah, so
soil.
radishes kind of x-ray your soil and tell you what's going on.
Yeah, right. There you go. I can't even remember which question we were answering.
The person wanted to test their soil. So
that's right.
And then the way to improve, and then so radishes will exhibit, and you could look up on the internet how radishes exhibit different things, and it's a standard soil test around the world that potting mix companies and people use to test their soil.
Perfect. All right, there you go. That was for Serena, actually. There you go, Serena. Hopefully that helps you out. All right, great. We're going to jump over to another platform. This one here comes to us from Mama, asking, I saw you recommended dichondra. I planted a few little plants 12 months ago, and it has gone berserk. I'm now trying to pull it out since it's full of weeds that I cannot get to. It seems to end the comment here, but is there any recommendation? Because I haven't really seen, from what we've looked at, I haven't seen dichondra going berserk per se, but what would you do in that scenario, or how would you handle that?
What you could do is if you dig up your dichondra and break it up into little pieces and wash it, you can get rid of you can separate the dichondra from the weeds. And then what you could do is spray it. Like what you could do is you could dig up a patch of dichondra, and a small patch of dichondra, if you break it up into little sections with leaves and roots, you've got a dichondra plant. If you wash it, you've got rid of your weeds. If you then sprayed the rest with Roundup, cleaned up all the weeds and replanted your dichondras that have gone mad, they'll go mad again. And then the trick is to stay on top of the weeds, like get all the weeds, go through every 2 weeks, get all the weeds out of it, and once the dichondra takes over, it's difficult to get weeds to grow in dichondra.
Yeah, because the one we saw at Kim's garden, there's no weeds, nothing. So he must have stayed on top of it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so dichondra. What you've got to do with your dichondra is you've got to stay on top of it. Now, one thing that I've done with dichondra is you can buy we even have it here in the nursery. You can buy organic weed mat, and then you can tip nice sterile potting mix over that. You put down organic weed mat, put potting mix on top of that, and then put little dichondra plants in it, and then it'll grow and spread, and you don't have to fight the weeds. You'll still get the odd weed pop up. The odd weed seed could blow in like that and pop up there, and you've got to. And the main thing is. There's two things. One is don't let any weeds seed, because one weed can drop 1,000 seeds, which is 1,000 new weeds. Yeah. And then if those all grew, you'd have 1 million weeds.
Yeah.
If they all grew and seeded, you'd have 1 million weeds. So weeds expand and spread exponentially. So the trick is you've got to stop them from seeding. But so basically you could break up your dichondra, wash it, and make it clean, and then you've got to keep it clean and not have it, not have weeds and things growing in it until it takes over. And once it takes over, it's very hard for a weed to get going.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Well, there you go, Mama. And I like the sound of that organic weed mat that you can put down and put the soil on top.
I've done that before. You can roll that organic weed mat, put sterile soil or potting mix over the top. Potting mix comes sterile. A good quality potting mix will be sterile. Put the sterile potting mix over the top, pop your little dichondras in, and you're in business.
All right, perfect. All right, Mama, you might have a little bit of work ahead of you to get those weeds out.
One more comment. Right now, I'm putting dichondras into pots, and right now, as the heat kicks in, little plants will fill a pot in 2 weeks. Wow. Dichondra grows really crazy. It likes heat, water, and fertilizer. So if you wanted to cover an area quickly with dichondra, do it in the summer.
Perfect. All right, that answers that one. Thanks for your comments, guys. We'll move on to the next one. Fabrice asks, hey, which hydrangeas are more tolerant to afternoon sun?
Okay, your paniculata hydrangeas are the ones that'll take a full day of sun. But what can happen in the hot sun is they can run out of water quickly, and if they run out of water, the flowers will sort of fry and the leaves will shrivel up and stuff like that. So full sun, but keep them really well watered. So on a really hot day, on a crazy hot day, you might water them twice. On another normal summer day, you give them one water. So pump them with water, and you can keep your paniculata hydrangea. And a friend of mine's growing the Sunday Phrase in a full hot sunny paddock, and they look fantastic.
Great. All right, Fabrice, there you go. So just keep on top of the water, but they can go into full sun, which is great. Raw asks, I want to ask you if you have a ground cover called Phlox Giselle, because I couldn't find them anywhere.
Well, I'm not sure. So what we'll do is write that up as a P&A, get his name and number, and we'll see if we'll check with our suppliers and see if we can dig that up for him. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah. Or you can direct message us there. Sorry, I can't say the full name. Roy.
Yeah.
Horry,
So
I
if he
think.
gives us his name and phone number and the exact variety that he's after,
Yeah.
and lets us know, and we'll hand it to. We have a service here called Price and Availability, and what we've got is guys that look up items and check the price and availability of those items and let you know what's available and what price it is.
Beautiful. All right, Roy Horry. I hope I'm saying that, probably butchering that name, but just send us a direct message there. Or you can call us. We've put the number on the screen there, 039 359 3331. Or you can email us, sales@hellohelloplants.com.au. All right, so next comes to us from Jawaraka Hampton's farmhouse. Our Xanadu plant looks like it's dying. The leaves turning yellow-brown. What can we do make this plant thrive?
I would say it's a very simple plant. I'd say it's a matter of water and fertilizer. So a good dose of fertilizer, Osmocurt would be excellent. Pump a bit of water, give it good deep waters regularly. If the water's not going in well, use a little bit of soil wetter, but give it some good deep soaks, get some fertilizer onto it, and it'll buck up. That's all you need to make a Xanadu grow is water and fertilizer.
Oh, that's great. Simple answer for getting it back and thriving. Jawaraka Hampton's farmhouse. All right, so we'll circle back. Serena just had another question asking, I have ground cover growing in my raised beds. When should I turn it under to feed soil?
When it's really full and lush. So when it's full and lush, flip it over and it'll feed the soil.
All right, there you go, Serena. Good. Next comes to us from Paper Louise. Can you plant any small trees, large shrubs during summer?
Yes. What it is, on a hot summer's day, lots of humans suffer. I do. And so people then get the idea that plants must suffer in the heat and we mustn't expose them to the heat. Well, in actual fact, plants love the heat as long as they've got enough water to thrive in the heat. And so I start potting I'm starting to pot in the next week or two. As the heat kicks in, I'm starting to pot like crazy because plants love it. They love a bit of fresh potting mix, bit of fertilizer, and some sunshine and heat. 35 degrees. They think it's Christmas. So the plants are not humans. They're fundamentally different. And you suffer in the heat. Your plants, given adequate water, love the heat. They need water, and they grow like crazy in the heat, and they need more fertilizer in the hot weather than they do in the cold weather. So like our retail nursery, I was looking at it this morning, and I need to go mad with a bit of fertilizer in the retail nursery because the plants are growing like crazy and they're sucking up the nutrients. And what'll happen is that by January, February, if I don't fertilize, it'll start to look a bit hungry.
Perfect. All right, there you go, Paper Louise. That's what you can do to plant during summer. It is a good time. Macy, we'll just circle back to Macy, who asked, do you know how tall the dwarf bananas get? This was about you suggested dwarf bananas.
Okay, I've seen bananas up. I lived in Mackay for a little while. I saw people with bananas that were only about 1.4, 1.5 metres tall and fruiting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's pretty small for a banana tree, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, good. Cigar said, what about small plant of banana? I'm not sure maybe that you just answered that.
Yeah, and you'd have to hunt around to get them because I think there's some restrictions on trading banana plants up north.
Well, Macy says they saw it on Marketplace on the Facebook. I'm assuming that's Facebook Marketplace. Yeah.
All
right. Well, go for it if that's what you want to get. Nanny asks, when are broad beans planted?
Broad beans. So broad beans are something you eat towards the end of winter, beginning of spring, and I'm pretty sure that broad beans are a late summer or autumn plant to be enjoyed at the end of winter or beginning of spring. So I'd imagine March, April would be the time for planting broad beans. You could check on the internet, but I think that plant in the autumn joins. Whereas now, your French beans would be going in now, your climbing beans would be going in now. Or even a little bit sooner. Ideally, you'd have done it 3 or 4 weeks ago. But so French beans and climbing beans. So there's summer beans, and then your broad bean is an autumn a late summer, autumn plant that you would then enjoy end of winter, beginning of spring. And I love broad beans. I haven't eaten them for years, actually. I love broad beans.
Really?
They're wonderful. They're lovely, rich flavour.
Do you have to cook them, or
Yeah.
Okay.
You can. No, we used to eat them raw, but they're better cooked.
Yeah.
As
What about
kids-
like
as kids
sugar
we'd-
peas, snap peas, and stuff? Are they summer or are they?
They're sort of autumn winter plants.
autumn,
Enjoy late winter, early spring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, there you go, Nanny. So autumn time is the time to plant those. Natasha asks, what feature of plant is nice in a 45 centimetre diameter pot? So that's a 16 inch, is it?
45, yeah, it'd be like that.
16 inch, yeah.
Feature plant. In a hot, sunny spot, something that comes to my mind that could look really good would be a Coprosma Pacific Sunset, and that has beautiful reds and pinks and all different colours in it, very, very colourful foliage.
Yeah.
And then it would depend a bit on the colour of the pot, and then a silver dichondra planted in front and that falling over the front of the pot, so you'd have beautiful silver and all beautiful reds and burgundies and things like that. That would be a really, really nice combo. And let me think of something else that would be nice to have. You could put an orange jessamine into a pot like that, and then underneath, the cascade over the front, you could use an emerald falls, which is a dichondra that we learnt about dichondra today, but dichondra that would fall like a waterfall over the front of the pot or over the sides of the pot, and then an orange jessamine. And what I love about orange jessamine, dark green glossy foliage, trim them up into a lovely fat round ball. They look good all year round. And then what they do is that all through the year when you have warm nights, which is a lot longer in Sydney and Brisbane, but all through the year when you have long nights, your orange jessamine just is speckled with fragrant flowers. And so if you had that in a courtyard or an outdoor living area, you'd want it out, you need at least half a day's sun for it. But if you have that out in that outdoor living area, it'll fill it with fragrance on the warm nights. And the warm nights are the nights when you're likely to be out there. So on the nights when you're likely to be out, your orange jessamine is filling the air with beautiful fragrance, and it could be trimmed into a beautiful ball.
Beautiful. That sounds really nice. And you could standardise those too, couldn't you?
You can standardise. They're a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And then you could grow underneath that. Green on green would look nice. So it's something like your Emerald Falls, dichondra falling out from underneath.
Amazing. There you go, Natasha. There's a few options there for you. Again, if you want to rehear these answers, you can head over to our YouTube channel, search Hello Hello Plants. Once this live is finished, we'll have it published there and you can re-listen to the answer from Chris. Abdul asks, how much for 3x3 grass? We don't sell grass.
We don't do turf. So you look around for a turf supplier, and they sell it by the square metre. And if you're only after a small bit, it's good to buy it from somewhere where you can pick it up, because they always charge a fortune to drop it off. It's probably these days, I haven't bought it for a couple of years. Last time I bought it was $80 just for the drop off. And so if you, because they use big trucks and forklifts to drop it off, so it's $80 is a fair price. It's probably 120 by today. So there are companies that you can go to and buy and pick it up at the gate, and pick it up and drive away yourself, put it in the trailer or something like that. And you're paying these days, you're probably paying $10 or $12 per square metre. Through to $20 for some of the flasher grasses. So if you only need a couple of square metres, you don't want to add on $80 or $100 worth of drop off,
Yeah, true. All right, try that out, Abdul. Go pick it up yourself, save a bit of cash. All right, Jamie asks, any hints and tips on gardenias?
Okay, gardenias. Gardenias are interesting. Gardenias, what most people think that they need to grow in the shade. But they don't really, they can grow in full hot sun. But what gardenia, and they do particularly well in Sydney, because Sydney has a lot of sandstone and sort of sandy, gravelly kind of soils, and so they do really well in that Sydney climate. Basically, gardenias are very, very simple. A lot of people have trouble growing them, but here's the nuts and bolts. What they love is acidic soil. So often here I'll sell them, we have a gardenia potting mix here, and when people buy gardenias, I'll get them to, even if they plant them in the garden, I'll get them to buy some of the gardenia potting mix and mix it through the soil and make the soil nice and acidic. So you want nice acidic soil. The soil needs to be loose and well drained. They hate poor drainage, so they love where the water comes through, and then they love they love nitrogen fertilizer, plenty of nitrogen and plenty of water. And it's not true that they live in the shade, but they're happy in the hot sun, but they need everything. They need the water and they need the fabulous drainage. And then here's the real clicker. I've seen Osmocote, and I don't sell it here, but you can get it down at Bunnings. It's a sort of an obscure thing that not many people would buy. But Osmocote sell liquid fertilizer for acid-loving plants. So Osmocote, liquid fertilizer for acid-loving plants. And I've seen people take a gardenia that I would have thrown in the rubbish. I would have written, I would have said, that gardenia there, no hope at all. I've seen them take a gardenia like that and turn it into a beautiful plant in a couple of months in warm weather by using that every week. So you cannot go wrong. Osmocote, liquid fertilizer for acid-loving plants. It is magic, absolute magic on gardenias.
Wow.
So
There you go.
summing it up quickly, fabulous drainage. Acidic soil, maybe mix in a bit of gardenia mix. If you're putting gardenias in pots, use the gardenia mix. And then sunshine or shade really doesn't seem to matter that much. Plenty of water, plenty of fertilizer. Fertilizer needs plenty of nitrogen, no lime or calcium. And then Osmocote, liquid fertilizer for acid-loving plants, fantastic for gardenias.
Perfect. There you go, Jamie. I hope you got to hear the answers to that question. That's perfect. And if you're enjoying this live here today, make sure to like it. Subscribe to our channels if you haven't already. We do appreciate the support. You can share this live as well, help others discover it, because Chris has got some very valuable, incredible knowledge, and you definitely, when you watch this, you learn something new about horticulture every time we have a live question and answer. So Jamie, there's your tips for gardenia. Just circling back to Paper Louise, she said, "Oh, thank you. I always thought it was bad to plant in summer." Perfect, thanks.
No, it's the opposite of what people think.
That's right. And the boss says, "Have we had a wet November? Nitrogen in the rain."
Yeah, and Melbourne looks green and luscious.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now we might have missed this one. We're sorry if we missed your comment here, but I just noticed Joanna's come back to us because we missed her question previously. Joanna's in Perth, or Joanne, sorry, is in Perth. I brought a blackberry plant. Any tips for blackberries?
Right, hopefully you bought a thornless blackberry plant, because those thorny ones could be pretty rugged in the garden.
We have them all over Melbourne, don't we? The thorny ones, right?
All over Victoria. Victoria's
yeah.
rotten with blackberries, and I spent lots of time picking blackberries when I was a kid, and always from the thorny ones. And blackberries love beautiful fertile soil. One thing you could do is, if you got a heap of compost and if you dug a hole, mixed a whole lot of compost in and mounded up your soil so that there was lots of soil underneath you, lots of rich composty soil, bit of Osmocote in there, so lovely rich composty soil, bit of Osmocote in there, lovely big mound of soil, blackberry on top with lots of soil underneath it, plenty of water, fertilise it regularly, and it'll go crazy. And then you probably need to stake it, or put a couple of stakes in and put some wires in and sort of put onto some sort of trellis. I remember my sister-in-law bought some berries mail order, planted a little patch of berries in a nice fertile bit of ground, left them for about 2 years with no care, no trimming, no attention, and it turned into a monster that we had to get a bulldozer to push out. It was just a giant tangle of stuff. So you do need to train them, and blackberries.
So they can go berserk, even the thornless ones?
Yeah, they can, but they're not as bad berserk. But what you do is you train them onto some sort of a trellis.
Oh yeah.
And then it's 2-year-old wood that produces the fruit. So what you've got to do is you've got to kind of work with them and sort of have your 2-year, chop off some of them, but keep always every year keep some 1-year-olds to become 2-year-olds, and you keep your 2-year-olds to fruit. So your 2-year-olds fruit and your 1-year-olds are fruiting next year, and you kind of got to manage them and put them onto a bit of trellis. So it's a little bit of not that hard once you work it out. Yeah. But and if you manage them that way, you can keep them under control and get lots of with the water and fertilizer in the deep soil, you can get lots of fruit. But so you can, and if you're planting a row of them, what you do is you'd make a whole long mound and have compost and fertilizer in it.
All right, beautiful. That's some great advice, Chris. There you go, Joanne. And Joanne says, "Yep, I brought the thornless one."
Good.
All right, lovely. Waves of Phase says, I used to always watch and love the Hello Hello Chris and Mari out on TV when I was a child, and sent a love heart. Thank you for the support.
Thank you. Thanks.
Terry asks, do you still have Markelia alba in stock?
One or two. We haven't. I need to get some more. We're a bit low on them actually.
Okay, cool. Maybe you can give us a call on 0393593331 and we can probably order one in for you.
Yeah.
All right, good. There you go. That was for, I lost the name there. Terry, I believe. Yeah, Terry. And actually, we just missed this one from Jules. What type of soil mix would you use for strong root growth for growing in pots? Strong root growth for growing in pots. What kind of soil?
We're getting a new potting mix in here. It's called Nashiki, and that's sort of coming in this week, and that's one that a professional grower spent 10 years developing it, and he grows beautiful strong trees. And then he also uses a bit of sea salt. So if you use the Nashiki potting mix together with sea salt, that would be a great combo.
All right, wonderful. There you go, Jules. Hopefully that helps you out with which potting mix to get. When will the Nashiki soil be ready?
I'll be here by the weekend.
Or you could come in, visit us 1477 Sydney Road, Camfield, Jules, on this weekend, and pick up that Nashiki soil mix.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to have to wrap up this live fairly shortly. We're getting a typical Melbourne 4 seasons in one day weather outside.
Yeah, we had beautiful warm sun a few minutes ago, and now we've got pounding icy rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, hopefully you can still hear us. I think these mics are pretty good, actually. We'll just get the producer to have a listen and make sure. All right, so Rawi Hori asks, is the Pandora climber a good plant for Melbourne climate?
Yeah, so I think what you're talking about is what we call a Pandorea, and my favourite one is Lady Di. But what's great about a lot of climbers grow and then they flower for 2 weeks and that's it. Your Pandorea, your Pandorea, or most of it, not every Pandorea, but most of your Pandoreas, and particularly the Lady Di and some of the pink ones, what they do is that they flower from the middle of spring till the middle of autumn. They flower for about 6 months of the year, and they're a nice evergreen climber, and they do really well throughout most of Victoria. But beautiful evergreen climber, but very long flowering, beautiful clusters of flowers. Particularly the Lady Di is wonderful. Just little clusters of white, luscious, beautiful, bright white flowers, and little clusters all over it. And it's quite a vigorous climber. It can cover a great big fence or a great big wall. And it's a climber that does need some sort of trellis or wire or something to climb on. So Pandoreas, great climber for Victoria, and probably right up into New South Wales and across into South Australia and northern Tasmania as well.
Incredible. All right, there we go, Rawi. Aristofania says, I want about 8 Daphne. They want the eternal fragrance variety, but they're saying everywhere they've looked 100% perfume princess. Even at Hello Hello, what's going on? I need help. When are they coming back?
Okay, here's the answer. We're the only nursery with this service in place. It's called, we have an actual team doing pricing and availability. So whatever you want, whether he's after eternal fragrance, so whatever you want, if you want Daphne eternal fragrance or anything else, we deal with about 200 suppliers, and we go through all their lists every week. And if my guys can't get it, it can't be got, and my guys can find almost anything that's available in Australia or Victoria.
Yeah, give us a call, 0393593331, and one of our sales staff can help you.
What you do is you put in a P&A. It might take a couple of days to get an answer, but you put in a P&A and you get the answer.
Wonderful. And then Serena just said, did Chris answer the ground covering question? Yes, Chris did answer it.
Yeah. What I said, if you've got a ground cover that you've grown to enrich the soil, now would be a great time to turn it in.
There you go.
Make use of it, and then perhaps plant a new one.
Wonderful. All right, there you go. Erica asks, what's the best fertilizer for camellia? I planted 2 this year, only 1 bloomed. I didn't add any fertilizer since it was their first year.
Okay.
They're in the USA too.
Yeah. So you might need something a bit acidic. Here in Australia, we'd use pine bark or pine needles or something like that, and you might put some sort of acidic mulch on it, like crushed pine bark would be great to put over the top. And then I'm pretty sure you'd have Osmocote or Nutricote there in the States, and they're the palletized fertilizer. And I notice all the camellia growers here, all the professional growers use that, the palletized slow release. Stay away from any sort of lime. So an acidic mulch like a pine bark or a pine needle, and something like an Osmocote or Nutricote NPK. Camellias love it, and then keep although it depends where you are in the States, but keep the water up to your camellias. They love beautiful drainage. They have plenty of water. They like acidic conditions and plenty of NPK fertilizer.
Amazing. All right, there you go, Erica. And I believe that's the Erica who watches us from the States there. Hopefully that helps you out. All right, we're going to have to make this our last question from JW4 to GR8. I've planted some flowering ash, Fraxinus ornis, and with good drainage and full sun area. How much will they grow per year? They're about 1 year old and planted 4 meters apart.
Right, okay. I reckon keep the grass and weeds away from the bottom. Keep them watered and fertilised through the summer. And I would expect that once you've had them in for more than a year, you should be able to get about 1.2 metres a year on them.
Cool, and they just started, it's the evergreen one. They don't know if it's the ornis or the
no, it won't be
Griffith.
ornis. That'd be Griffithii.
Yeah, there you go.
But I'd say the same thing. So if you've got the evergreen flowering ashes, Fraxinus Griffithii, wonderful fast-growing tree. You're probably after the first year where it's established, if you water and fertilise it, probably about 1.5 metres a year.
Incredible. All right, there you go. And yes, Erica from New Jersey, thank you, she says, about the camellias.
Great.
And just thank you very much for everyone's comments and questions. Ashley, I just want to add this. Ashley Marie said, oh my God, Hello was the first website my dad visited on the internet.
Wow, that's incredible. We've had a website up for a long time, since I was a boy almost.
Since the internet existed almost, wasn't it?
Yeah, a friend of mine, I couldn't even, what happened was a mate of mine told me about, he's a sort of a computer scientist,
yeah.
and he said, Chris, there's this new thing. I said, what is it? He said, it's called a website. And I couldn't understand what he was talking about. He told me about it, and I said, look, can you build me one? He said, I'll get my missus to do it for you. And so Betty, his wife, built me a website, and it was like, I was the first nursery to have a website in Australia.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and I couldn't even understand what it was. And
it's just normal,
I couldn't
isn't it?
figure out what the internet was, the website. So he said there was this thing on the internet, and I didn't even know what the internet was, but he said I should have one. So I got one, and and back in those days, it cost quite a lot of money just to have a couple of pages and a few items and a couple of comments up on the website. It used to take 2 or 3 days to build a page on the website.
Wow.
It cost a few $100s just to do one page on the website, which by today's would be like $1,000 a page to make your website.
Yeah, pretty different times.
Yeah.
And they just used to love seeing you out on the road in your tutu. You can still catch the tutu on the side of the truck.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, you'll see it. There's a few trucks on the road with the pink tutu image of you on it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm very sorry if we've missed your questions. You'll have to rejoin us next Monday.
You should explain to people about Chris on the side of the road to pink tutu. Maybe people in America and all over the world don't really understand about that. Like
why you're wearing a pink tutu.
Yeah, so
it's
what
a marketing stunt.
Yeah, what it is, what we found was that people love going to a nursery where the owner wore a pink tutu occasionally. And I still do wear a pink tutu occasionally. And I'm famous throughout Victoria. This old bloke standing on the side of the road waving a wand and wearing a pink tutu, and it's and what it is that I went to a marketing conference many years ago, and what they said is if something works, just keep doing it forever.
Yeah.
And so that's basically, we've had a weird, like, pink tutus worked, various things worked, and we just keep on doing those things, and people it gets embedded in people's mind, and then one day when they're thinking they need a few plants, they go, oh, there's an old bloke with a pink tutu, we'll go over there.
Yeah, that's right. And if you're under the age of 30, you will know Chris from the radio ads and TV. Over the age of 30, I should say.
Yeah.
You'll know the TV ads and the radio ads from back in the day. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next Monday for the same live Q&A as we always do every Monday, where Chris will answer your questions on gardening. It's an excellent time to get all of that information from Chris's brain as we get access to it for 45 minutes or so. And till next week, we'll have a Growers Direct flash sale this Friday at 12 o'clock Standard Eastern Sydney time or Melbourne time. So please join us on Friday 12 o'clock our time, of course, if you want to watch all the new specials that are rolling in for the week. And otherwise we'll see you next Monday at 12 o'clock, and bring those questions with you again. We'll be happy to get them answered.
Thank you for tuning in, and get your friends to tune in next Monday, okay? Thank you. Bye.
Bye.